and gentlemen, my name is Peter Meier. I'm the Associate Dean of Education and Students, and I'm here to MC proceedings today. Before we start, I'd like to acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation as the owners of the lands upon which UTS stands. I acknowledge the elders past, present and emerging as the traditional custodians of knowledge for this place. So welcome to UTS, welcome to the Faculty of Science. Before we begin, I'm going to ask Professor Alaina Ammit to the stage to give you the official welcome. So please welcome Professor Ammit.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to UTS. As a past UTS student myself, I was in this room a couple of decades ago, let's say. I think the music that we've been hearing might give you a tip as to when it was. So it really is a very exciting opportunity that you are about to launch upon, and I really congratulate you on your really good choice. Obviously, I'm biased. I work here, and my first degree is from here, but you really have chosen a great university in a very dynamic and vibrant time. I really am excited for your opportunities. UTS, as you know, is Australia's #1 top university. What that means is it's a young university and it's very vibrant, and that really is part of the culture here, and I hope you enjoy that. It's also very good in terms of the rankings. We're 140 in the world rankings, and we're rising. So I think that the sort of things that you will experience during your degrees will be very vibrant and very world-leading, and that's what we want to be. So I think reflecting on what you're going to launch into, you're going to start a new degree. You have an opportunity to learn so much. You have an opportunity to tailor that learning. You have an opportunity to change who you are. If you've joined from school, you might not be the person that you were when you're at school. You might be someone totally different. The people in this room will help shape who you will be, and the university will be there for you as well. So I'm excited about your opportunities. You've also made a very good choice because you've joined the Faculty of Science, which is one of the most vibrant and powerful faculties within the university. I say powerful because it is really a powerhouse of research and teaching. And the academics that you will meet today, you know, are very responsible for leading your learning, but they're also really active researchers as well. So when you have an opportunity today to talk about what the degree might lead to, what sort of stuff you might be learning, do also think about those academics there are doing the teaching and research nexus, and they're going to be part of your future career. So I really will put a plug in for research. I am the Associate Dean for Research, and what that means is I'm responsible for the research direction and implementation across the faculty. We have, for those of you that might be interested to do further studies, we have around 400 PhD and master's students within these faculties. And as you move through the buildings in science, in all of the areas that you don't go into right now, there's labs, there's fabulous stuff, there's technology, there's so much research going on. The research in our faculty spans oceans, sea, coral, all the way to physics, photonics, medical, biomedical. Oh, so many things that you'll learn. Field, robotics, so much stuff is going on. We're also linking with other parts in the faculty. So the breadth and depth of the research within our faculty is very strong, and that also allows our teachers to be excellent and adaptable and applied and researching with impact. So think about that as you talk to people today and really get that real world impact that UTS is well known for. As I said, I'm excited to see you start on the beginning of your academic careers. Do enjoy, and I look forward to seeing you and hearing your successes in coming year. Congratulations.
Okay, so that was Alaina. That is the picture of our newest super lab. We call it the Hive. It's a PC2 facility, meaning essentially biological sciences are done in that facility. It has been just commissioned this year. It will have even more equipment in it that you see at the moment. Most of you will get into that lab around second year of your studies. And this is a prime example of the sort of facilities that you'll be dealing with. A lot of them are new and recently developed, and this is a very unique design. It's specifically designed to encourage group work. So you won't see traditional things like sinks and gas taps on benches, because it's meant to engage students in a different type of learning. Now, university is not just about doing a course, getting a degree, finding a job. It's about a whole bunch of other things that are fundamentally more important. It's about a life experience. And one of the important things that you are going to experience over the next 3 years are networks and friendships. And being connected is one of the most important elements in terms of helping you get through your degree. So what I'd like you to do is turn around to somebody next to you, someone that you didn't know before, behind you, in front of you. Introduce yourself. If you don't know what to say, tell them what course you're doing, why you're studying it. See if you can get their phone number. All right, go. For a minute, talk to someone you haven't spoken to. Okay, let's bring you all back. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Who scored a phone number? One person. One person scored a phone number. The rest of you need to work on those social skills. All right, what we're going to do today is very briefly run through some of the things that are important in terms of staying supported and staying connected. We'll talk a little bit about careers, we'll talk a little bit about global mobility, and then we'll break you up into smaller groups that are course-based, and somebody will lead you to a program director who will talk to you specifically about your course and answer any specific questions. So the person you're sitting next to, you may never see again, because they may be in a different course. Think about that before you leave the room. There's still a phone number to be gagged. Wrong button. Excellent. All right, so you've chosen UTS, which essentially means you've chosen what we call Learning Futures. Learning Futures is a model of learning whereby we blend our particular learning, meaning that you may be doing some face-to-face lectures, you may be doing some online lectures, you may be doing pre-work before you attend workshops and tutorials. You'll be doing practicals. So there will be a mixture of various online, face-to-face activities. David will talk to you about internships, which is a wonderful opportunity that I encourage all of you, or as many of you, to take as possible. So Learning Futures is all about understanding that learning isn't simply sitting in some boring lecture and by some process of diffusion while you're asleep, information seeps into your brain. It actually requires some level of engagement and working with your friends and other people in your course, and as well as the staff around. So it's about Learning Futures. Some of you may have come from school. You may have been a big fish in a small pond. Some of you may be coming from work environments. Some of you may not have studied in quite a long time. And so the challenges in all of those environments are very different to what you will find here at UTS. Nobody is going to chase you to say, did you do your assignment or did you not do your assignment? Have you done your homework? No. Are you in the pub instead of in the lecture theatre? They're all your choices to make. So the challenges are quite different, some people find it quite challenging to be in a large lecture space such as this with 500 other students. So it's different. And because it's different, there are various support mechanisms to help you build a sense of self-reliance. Because you are going to manage your time, you're going to manage your workload, you're going to manage your job with your commitment to university. And so sometimes you may need the support of your friends, but there are other support mechanisms at the university. Counselling services, financial support, the various student clubs. In the Faculty of Science, we have a number of science-based clubs in physics, in medical science, in other course areas. There's also all the sports clubs. There's a whole range of activities that, again, I encourage you to explore because it helps you build that sense of self-reliance. At the same time, it will also help you when you need a little bit of motivation. Calling on a friend to help you with an assignment, as long as you're not both submitting the same piece of work, is going to be something that can help you at certain times. And again, if you don't have the social networks, there are services at the university that you can call upon. Now, most of these have been made known to you in other orientation activities at the week. We have some details here. These slides will be available to you after this presentation, so don't worry if you don't pick up all the details, you can get them later. So motivation is important. Understanding that you're a little bit more self-reliant is important, and that the support is here and it is available. You need only ask. Ask your demonstrators, your lecturers, ask student services, ask your friends. The other thing we've done is we've aligned our courses with graduate attributes. And graduate attributes are essentially a set of skills, values that employers consider important. So they will be things like teamwork, communication, negotiation. And so we build our programs around these key essential skills, and we build in activities to our learning programs that help build those skills. Sometimes it's plainly obvious, sometimes it's a little bit less obvious, but what I can assure you is that at the end of the 3 years you will have a depth of knowledge and a breadth of skills that will make you very employable. Our facilities, as I said, are amongst the best in the world. What you see here is a photograph of a clean room. So if you're working in, say, predominantly physics, some engineering, you'll be in that, potentially in that clean room. There is the MIF, or what essentially is a very expensive microscope. It's worth $1.7 million. It's an electron microscope. It's the only one of its kind in the Southern Hemisphere, and I assure you that none of you undergraduates will ever get to touch it. Okay? However, if you go on to do an honours program, you get on to do a PhD, you might be putting samples through that electron microscope to gain the images and the resolution of images that that particular microscope can attain. So we have some really incredible equipment here. One of the important support services that we offer is the Maths and Science Study Centre. So that's located in Building 4, which is one of the science buildings. It's on level 3. And that centre offers just-in-time help in case you're struggling with, say, a maths or a stats assignment. You'll all be engaging in a statistics subject of sorts. You may need help. It also provides ongoing help. So if you're generally struggling a little bit with maths, you can drop in and find assistance there. And also, again, if you need assistance with chemistry or physics, if you're not enrolled or using UPass, which is a particular support program for certain subjects where you get peer tutoring, then the study centre is somewhere you can drop in, and staff are manning that centre and providing support that you need. So again, it's about staying connected. So apart from your individual connections, some of which you may have made this morning, you can connect to us at Science through Facebook, through Twitter, through Instagram, and so on. And I encourage you to engage in that, provide feedback, and let us know what we're going. So if nothing else, if you only remember one thing from today, it's this: stay connected and stay supported. That's important in terms of your success both at university and later on in life. So we really encourage you, if you need help, ask for it, because somebody will gladly provide that help. So stay connected and stay supported. Now, how do you feel about starting your course? I assume you all have a mobile phone or some other device. You can log on to menti.com, and if you enter that code, 342837, you can start to tell us about how you feel about starting your course. And this, in some respects, is an example of a data collection process. So 342837, we can start the program. Yep. In a minute, you'll see, hopefully, a word cloud start to appear. Maybe not. We can certainly see you all responding. No, is there a way to unhide the image? There we go. So, nervous, excited. So, the words grow in size depending on how many people are typing in. So, if you're excited, that's great. For some reason, nervous seems to be standing out right in the middle. All right. I assure you there's no need to be nervous. Your nervousness is based on fear. Your fear is based on the unknown. We're all very friendly here. We don't bite unless you ask us to. So what you need to do is take that little bit of fear and turn it into a bit of excitement and channel it into your studies. So I'm glad to see that people are feeling excited and motivated. I'm still not happy about stressed. Some people are inspired. Somebody's very keen. All right. Yes. Okay. Well, I still don't like nervous in the middle and nobody's changing it, so we'll just cut that. Like a good scientist, we'll just ignore the data we don't want to look at. Throw that over the fence like Mendelssohn and his peas. So But that's a very simple example of how you can collect data, how you can analyse data, how you can use data. There's a lot of information packed in the back of that. So they're the sorts of activities and creative things that you'll be able to do in your degree. So you're doing a degree, but you want an endpoint. And that endpoint is a career. And the most important thing about a career is that you need to start thinking about it right now. So when I went to uni, basically I bummed around for the first 2 years, did much of nothing, had the attitude that P's equal degrees, went to a career service in my 3rd year. Somebody told me, you're not getting a job unless you have distinctions. Oh, right, thank you very much. I better pull my finger out and get my Ds and whatever else. Not that it mattered, because I then went on and studied a different degree that I was more interested in any case and ended up in science. But the point is, you need to think about it now, not at a later date. And so we have a careers service, and we encourage you to go and visit them early on and take advantage of that. So they will help you with career planning, with goal setting. They'll help you develop skills, and you can do value assessments with them so you have a better understanding of what you're aiming for and where you want to be. There are lots of industry connections that they can make. They have a mentoring program that they can hook you up with. So there are a lot of excellent services to help build your career. They'll answer these sorts of questions about where you get work experience. And again, David will tell you about our internship programs, and this is a very important aspect of your learning, because you can go out into the workforce and develop some skills there. And we know, for example, from one of our biomedical programs that 30% of the students that get placed on work placements end up with a job at that particular placement once they graduate. Or their internship gets extended. So there are lots of benefits. Again, perhaps one of the most interesting is helping you find a mentor. Mentors are very useful creatures. They help guide you in a lot of areas in life, in university, in work, in all sorts of things. So again, take advantage of those things. There's a drop-in facility, and again, it's in Building 1, Level 4. Don't worry, you can get this information later on. And Alaina is our science careers consultant. So you can see her, and she specialises in helping in science students and science placements. All right, at this point I'm going to get off the stage. I'm going to ask David to come in and tell you a bit about global mobility.
Just like Alaina, I'm a UTS graduate, and in fact, Alaina and I were we were around the same time, and for that reason, I do apologise for the music. There was much better music at that time. Joy Division, R.E.M., Midnight Oil, a lot of really good bands, so I do apologise for the odd soundtrack. The other thing is, I met the love of my life, who I married at university. Interestingly, first time we met, I met her because I was keen on her best friend. And also, we had a huge argument the first time we met. And we have been married now for almost 30 years. So we're doing all right. So, let's see if I can do this properly. Yes. Okay, so what I want to talk to you about is this idea about that there's more to being at university than the classroom. And the three things I want to talk to you about are global exchange, which I'll talk about at the end because I've managed to not, I'll talk about that in a minute. But then I'm going to talk about volunteering overseas. And as Peter has hinted, I'll talk to you about internships. So, what I want to talk about is, in terms of volunteering overseas, what can happen is every July and every summer, what used to be called UTS Build, there is still Build. Build now is a leadership program. In fact, there are several different leadership programs. And quick, before I go any further, if you can get into an extracurricular leadership program at UTS, Build is one. There's one called Access. There's one called Accomplish. There's a couple. I would strongly recommend you do think about doing a leadership program. Build is the international leadership program, and it used to be the umbrella for what we called our short-term mobility. And nowadays, that's a standalone thing. Short-term mobility means you spend between 2 and 4 weeks in an overseas country. And that could be in any number of situations. The ones that probably most people think about is doing a small amount of volunteering. So we have just last summer, we had a bunch of students who went to Cambodia, and they worked with a local community and helped them redesign their garbage disposal systems. We've had another group who went to Cambodia who learned about natural medicines. On the flip side of that, we've got students who do short-term studies. We've had students go to Cambridge to do a short course. There's a girl right now who's doing a hackathon, or she's just come back, a hackathon in Israel. And so there are these amazing opportunities in July and in summer. And all I recommend you do is look at your emails and keep an eye out for Build, but also keep an eye out for information from global short-term projects. The great thing also is we will count that towards your degree. So if you do, so the guy who went to Cambodia with the garbage disposal can, he and 3 other students today, this afternoon, are going to give oral presentations about their experience overseas, and they're getting marks for that. They get it's a full subject. Internships. So what's really great about doing a science degree, in fact doing any degree really, is you're not generally doing it 9 to 5, 5 days a week, okay? So you do have some opportunities during your normal teaching sessions, which are autumn and spring, but also again during July and summer, you can do some internships. And by an internship, I mean work experience, but work experience at a new level. So an example here is that in any one teaching session, whether it's autumn, spring, July, or summer, we have between about 15 to 40 students working either in the field or lab with one of our professors. And they work on independent projects. So for example, one guy, Pat, he looked at the way in which using different screens can protect small fish when there's changes in the river flow. What's another example? Isabella looked at some of the genes of a very, very dangerous infectious disease. But as well as doing an internship with one of your professors, the other thing is you could also end up doing an internship outside. So Hayley worked for Bupa Dental, and she used her microbiology skills to help them audit practices in terms of their hygiene. Hayley has now been offered a full-year internship as a result of that. Rebecca worked for the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare, writing a report on a terrible topic. She talked about First Nation people and mental health issues. And she was paid for that. So what I'm trying to tell you is that there are a lot of opportunities available to you while you're studying to get honest to goodness work experience, where you'll use some of your disciplinary knowledge and apply it. And in that situation, it'll count towards your degree. So when you graduate, you'll get your testament. It'll say, Abdul did a science internship. Marianne did a science internship. Bronwyn did a science internship. David did a science internship. It'll be recognized on your testament. The thing is, though, we're not a faculty which will place every one of you in an internship. What we will do is when organizations contact us saying we have X number of internships, we will advertise them. And we will advertise them by your email, by your student email. Get in the habit of checking your student emails. So for example, 6 students were placed in 2 leading medical research institutes in Sydney over the summer. 8 students were placed in Jakarta in various companies, including one company which was doing remediation of a mine in Queensland, to the point where the girl who did the internship with this company in Jakarta, they flew her to the mine on her way home, and she did field work there. Another one, he's working for the Indonesian version of the Red Nose Foundation. So, but we don't, so those are advertised ones. But a lot of situations, students find them themselves. And this is the really important message I want to get across to you. Network, 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 network. If the faculty says there is a networking event where you meet industry people, go to them. One girl met her internship. She got an internship with an ultrasonographer. She's employed by them now. Next time you're talking to your neighbor, they say, oh, what do you do? Your neighbor says, oh, I work for a medical device company. Say to them, I'm doing a science degree. Do you think you'd take me on as an intern? Or they say, I work for a leading paint company. They say, I'm doing a chemistry degree. Do you think you could take me on as an intern? The other thing is, when you'll start to get prac classes, the prac teachers will be slightly older than you. Commonly, they are PhD and research students. Say to them, hi, what do you do when you're not teaching? They'll say, I research 2-dimensional carbon structures. And you say, that sounds awesome. Do you do that here? They'll say, yes. I said, what's your professor's name? Do you think they'd take me on as an intern? You've got to push yourself, and you've got to network, network, network. Talk to your demonstrators, talk to your neighbors, attend events, and basically also just learn to cold call. Send 10 different tailored emails, each one different. Don't expect a reply from 9 of them. If you're worried about that, go to careers. They will show you how to create a killer resume and how to properly contact them. And you need to start thinking about that from now. If there are networking events this year, go to them. If you see your neighbor and he looks like he or she's carrying a business, looks sort of businessy, talk to them. Talk to your demonstrators. Now, the last one I mentioned is, now, this could be in Sydney, but this could equally be in Toronto, in Leeds, in Munich, in Singapore, or where's another example? Bangkok. What I'm trying to tell you is you can actually spend a whole session of your degree doing subjects towards your major overseas. This is another thing you've got to think about now, because most importantly, you're going to have to start saving up for it. But also, look into what's called Global Exchange on the website and just track when the workshops are going. Generally what happens is, if you want to go this time next year, you start now. For you, it would be more like, if you want to go this time, sort of spring next year, you'd start in spring. But it takes about a year to prepare. But there again, keep be active. Look up your emails, look up websites, and start planning ahead. But yeah, we have about 40 students every year who spend a whole session at a university overseas. So hopefully I've given you some ideas about what you can do outside the classroom. You can do short overseas visits, either volunteering or attending short courses at different universities. We can give you academic credit for that. You can then do an internship on-site, in the field, or with some external partner. We can give you academic credit for that. Or you could spend a whole session in a country living and breathing your day-to-day life there, and also get subjects towards your final degree. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, thank you, David. The point is, we made connections. We took advantage of the networks that are available to us. This is one of the most important things that we just keep on reinforcing. It's natural to feel nervous. It's natural to be overwhelmed by something new. But we also need to remember that university is also about having fun. It's also about going out and getting engaged in social activism, in political activism. Right? Having fun. It's not just about studying, although you should study as well. But have some fun. So we're going to ask you to give us some feedback, because feedback is an important element of your learning and of our learning. You don't need to do this now. We will send this link out to you. As I said, the presentation will be available. But at the end of each subject, at each session, you will be filling in student feedback forms, and you will be telling us on the things you like, you didn't like, things that could be improved. And we use that feedback to improve our learning activities and advise our academics how to best engage with students so that the learning is fun. And feedback is a very important cycle that you'll be getting into over the next 3 years. And so we'll start this by asking you for feedback about this session